everyone, and welcome to Simply Made Homestead. I'm Marian, and today we are in the kitchen, but we are not going to be cooking anything. This is my new kitchen. I just love it too. I can't wait to cook something with you though. I got this nice big countertop here. We are going to have some fun. But before we get to that, that'll be another video, but today it's all about your seed potatoes because here in Central Florida, it is tater time. And we have got to get our seed potatoes prepped and ready to go in the ground. I want to get them in there in just maybe 3 days from now. I got to get them in the ground. But first, before you come to this point where you prep your potatoes, you need to be sure and figure out where you're going to plant them. When you are looking for that place to plant your potatoes, be sure and look for a spot that is nice and high and dry. And if it has a little sandy soil, in other words, it needs to drain well. If it holds the water, that's not the spot. That is not the spot for you. Make sure you find a nice, well-draining piece of land that to plant your potatoes. Potatoes don't like a lot of water, and so we don't want to stick them in there and then them just rot on us because you're going to be really disappointed. Once you do that, now about a week before you plant your potatoes, you can mix in some compost into the soil and get it all rich and yummy and ready for your crop. If you don't have compost to add to your garden bed, you can throw out some fertilizers like some triple 10, triple 20, and mix that all in the dirt out there. Give it a good drench and get it all mixed in and melted all into your soil and ready for planting. Now, doing those things, make sure you do them about a week before you plant. But today, our main goal is to cut up our potatoes. That's right. We don't plant them whole. You can, but you're not going to get near the production that you will get if you cut your potato up, because each one of those eyes, that's a potato plant. So you plant all that potato in the ground and all those eyes are going to sprout. You'll have a bigger bush perhaps, but you're going to have, the potatoes are not going to have room for each of those eyes to create that big, nice, beautiful bush to be able to grow all of those beautiful potatoes. So we are going to cut them up. Now, this year I grew up, my daddy grew Irish potatoes. I never knew a red potato had any other name besides an Irish potato. These are red potatoes, and they are the red Norland, N-O-R-L-A-N-D. I don't know, I may have grown them before and didn't know it was a red Norland. But we've got a 5-pound bag of red potatoes, Irish potatoes, and first time ever for us, we are going to plant some Yukon Gold. Now I love these little things, honey. They have the softest skin, make the best mashed potatoes ever. Just cut them up, don't peel them. Oh yes, garlic mashed potatoes, yummy, yummy. All right, so I've got a 5-pound bag of each of those. Now, as soon as I got them in the mail, I did order mine from Haas Tools. And I will put you a link below. They do have some potatoes left, I believe. So you can check them out. I have really enjoyed doing business with Haas Tools. They're just a wonderful company. I couldn't recommend them more. So when you get your potato in, you may see one that looks like that. You see how there's just barely anything showing there? Well, don't be discouraged because each one of those tiny little, you see that? You can hardly see that. But it will grow and it'll look like that. And then it'll look like that, okay? Those are little sprouts that will turn into a potato. All right, now what my dad used to do when he got his potatoes in, he would lay them all out on a cardboard box and he would let them sit there and then let these eyes start growing. Now this is not something that you have to do, but if you have time, when you get them in, if you have time before it's time to plant your potatoes, it's a really good idea. And for another thing, it gets plenty of air. You need to be able to store them in a dry, cool place. And that way it keeps them separated. You see how I'm just separating them out there? And you can let them sit there in your cardboard box. So to prepare your potatoes, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut See that? That's an eye. So I'm gonna cut that off right there. There's one eye on there. Now, and I'm gonna leave them like that, and I'm gonna put them back in a box. I'm gonna put them in a flat and let them sit there, and I'm gonna wait about 3 days before I plant them in the ground. And the reason I'm going to do that is to let this potato heal over. So it's just where it just kind of dries up right across the top there. Okay? Now, right here, you can see, I mean, guys, there's no rhyme or reason. You see how tiny, you see how close those two eyes are together? You see how tiny that is? That's okay. That's gonna grow, and that's gonna make a potato plant. But I'm gonna turn them this way. I'm turning them this way just to show you. That's got a nice big eye on that one, because I want them up so that can begin to dry and it won't start molding. Now I'm cutting this one really thin like this on purpose. See how I'm leaving potato in the middle? And when I get all these eyes cut off here, I'm gonna tell you why. Now, depending on where you live, the gas might very well be a whole lot worse somewhere else. Down here, I saw it at 3.45 this morning. And you and I both know inflation has been going a little bit crazy lately. So anyway, back in the Depression, during the Depression, or when times were really thin, when people went to plant their seed potatoes, they would cut off just these little bits, just the eyes. And they would leave these middle parts and eat them. They would make potatoes out of them, fried potatoes, mashed potatoes, potatoes in your soup, which would be even better, it goes a whole lot further. And instead of using all that berry and all that potato in the ground. Because this potato right here, the eyes is the only thing that's gonna do anything. So this you can eat. So just to keep that in mind. Now I'm not going to do the rest of these like this. I did this just for you to show you that. But that's a nice little chunk of potato to go in a pot of soup. So just in case things get super lean, we do have that option when it comes time to cut up our potatoes. You can still grow you a bunch of potatoes and have a little something to eat. All right, so that's what you do. Here are the red ones, same way. You do it the same way, and even those tiny little eyes there. See this potato, this thing's got a bunch of eyes on it. And I am going to cut it where I can use every bit of it. I think that one's just, I want it to be able to sit up and be able to dry. So we're going to discard that little piece. See, and this one's got a whole bunch. So, and that one's got 2 eyes, but it's super close. So I'm gonna let it go. All right, so that's all we do right there. All right, guys, that's just how easy it is to prep your potatoes. So, but be sure and wait at least 3 or 4 days before you do plant them in the ground. Now, if you're unsure about what your zone is and when you need to plant your potatoes, I have included a couple links in the description box below where you can find out both of those things, your zone and your planting dates. So be sure and check that out. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, be sure and do so and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when any new videos come out. We will be planting, I'm cutting these up, so I'm gonna be planting them in just a few days, and with it will come a new video that will be out next week where you can check it out and see just how to plant them and what to do next, our first steps in caring for our potatoes. All right, y'all, that's it for today. Now, if you would like to help us in any way, we would really appreciate it if you could share us across social media with your family and friends. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers and we're just not quite there yet. So any help you can give us, we would really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us. We love to have you along. And until next time, take care and God bless.